it is Halloween, and as we all know, Halloween is spooky and scary, supposedly. We have a 2016 Ford Kuga, and the thermostat wanted to say hello. Hello! Kind of looks a bit Halloweeny, doesn't it, with the colour and kind of, you know, unusual. Don't you think? Or is it just me? Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Yes, we have a 2016 2-litre Ford Kuga, and this is a very common issue on these. And these are redonkulously expensive. Just for shits and giggles, I want everybody, no matter where you are around the world, this is the part number for this part, and I want you to tell me in your country how much does this cost. This cost in Ireland €250 for this. So it'd be curious to know how much it costs, say, in the UK or, you know, I don't know, France, because it's made in France. Just everyone that can price it up around the world, put it in the comments. It'll just be a bit of fun. We've also got some genuine coolant as well, even though it doesn't say Ford on, but this is sold by Ford. Right, the problem is with a job like this, oh yeah, there's another thing I want to say. You know, this is why cars are getting more unreliable. You've got a thermostat in there controlled, I shit you not, thermostat is controlled by a motor. Motor controlled thermostat. Like, seriously, what's wrong with the old style? Anyway, look, it is what it is. Right, where you have to be very careful as a garage doing a job like this, or even doing a job like this yourself, I have to say, to be fair, the motor hasn't failed. The thing is split in half, so, you know, I can't blame the motor in this case. I've told the customer, look, that's split in half, but we know that's an issue, but I can't tell you if you've got another issue. I can't tell you if you've got a blocked radiator. I can't tell you if you've got a damaged head gasket, because essentially they kept driving it, the car was losing power, they stopped and they had a cup of tea or coffee, whatever it was, and carried on driving, and it was better, but then it got worse, and you know, so I don't know what damage is done. I've explained this to the customer, because when you buy a part like this, especially an expensive part, and you put it on, and then you have to say to the customer, well, you've got a hole in your radiator. Well, why didn't you tell me that first? You can't, because you need to fix this bit before you can continue. So I've said to the customer, look, we could possibly have an issue with the head gasket. We could have an issue with one of the radiator pipes, with a radiator or anything, because has that just split because it's just split, or is it split because it's come under a lot of pressure and then it's split? So has the water gone out first and then that's exploded? You just won't really know, unfortunately, until you put a £250 bloody unit into it, and then we can check it. The customer knows, and it's just something to be aware of. If you're doing this, like I said, on yourself, and you just think, oh yeah, I just put that in, it's expensive, I'm just going to put it in and I'm going to be away in a few hours. Well, not necessarily. So, and especially doing it for a customer, when, you know, if you say, well, this part is this expensive, X amount, and then you need this part and this part and this part, they're not going to be happy. I wouldn't continue this job until the customer said, yeah, I understand, it's okay, because otherwise I wouldn't touch it, because it's just too much grief for me and the customer. I can't be arsed with it. So what I'm going to do first is, and just do it off camera, take off the cover, take off the airbox, take out the battery. I might not need to take out the battery on this one. I know when I did the 1.6 one, you do have to take the battery out. I don't know. I need to take the airbox out anyway. I'm not sure about the battery. We'll see once we start stripping. Just when you thought it was really easy, because I looked at this and I thought, you know what? There's loads of room here. It's also a good thing to have a brand new one or a second-hand one or whatever beside you. I've never done one of these before, but when I saw this, I was thinking, oh, them 4 bolts are going to be a nightmare. I have to take the battery out. And then I was looking at, no, actually, no. Do you know what? Easy. Took off couple of pipes, couple of sensors, really easy, really nice. Then I saw this pipe at the back and I saw a bolt and I was thinking, oh, here we go, and can you see right there? And look, you can't even get, well, just a finger's width there. I can't move this intercooler pipe anymore. I can't see what is here. I can't even see what that is. Is that the, I don't know what that is. It's in the bloody way anyway, whatever it is. I can't see. Is it part of the, oh, I don't know. Anyway, how oh, was getting ahead of myself thinking, oh, this is going to be easy. Oh my God, what an absolute fucking nightmare and a joke. Anyway, if you look at this, this was going as well. This is what I'm normally used to seeing on these. These go here and they leak. It's all gone there too. Now this could have been leaking there as well, but obviously it's blown off the top. But you can just see how, look at that, half that's missing. How it just rots on the inside. This is the old gasket. That's the pipe going into it. This is the little bracket which I've cleaned, and then the 10mm bolt that goes onto it. What a nightmare. Need to get a couple of new O-rings for that. Just stupid, like, oh, anyway. What we've got to do is also clean up this, clean everything up. I'll do all that off camera because again, you're just not going to be able to see anything. But yeah, 8mm bolts for taking it off, 4 8mm bolts for taking it off, 10mm bolt at the back, a couple of connections, a couple of pipes, a couple of clips. Yeah, just fucking ridiculous, but we've got it on. Hopefully it's all okay. I ended up moving this pipe. I took off both bolts, both 10mm bolts. One's down here, one's down there. Gives you a lot more room, but it's still seriously tight. Also, you have to be very careful of this pipe here. It's got one of these stupid plastic clips that you have to push out. But you know, it's plastic, so be very careful, because if you break that, you're in trouble. You don't get that with the new one. So I put the 4 bolts back in. I've said this countless of times on everything. Whenever you've got more than 1 bolt into anything, whether it's 2, whether it's 10, whether it's a million, always put all the bolts in first before you tighten it down. Because if you tighten one down, the others might look like they're fitting and they might feel like they're going in, but you can just do serious damage. So get all bolts in together. Right, the easiest way to put that pipe on is, you can see these little arrows here, or these little nubs sticking out. So that pipe can only go on one way. You shove this plastic piece on the pipe, which again can only go on one way, and you just push it in and it clips in automatically. Great job. So I put everything back together. I've left the boost pipe off and I've left the airbox off. I plugged it in. But I just want to make sure there's no leaks. I've just put a load of water in it and antifreeze, which is always a dodgy thing to do, because if you put antifreeze in and it leaks, you've just wasted a load of antifreeze. But I'm taking the risk. So what we need to do now is start this and see if there's any leaks under pressure. Great Queen song, Queen and David Bowie. The car does start and sound okay, so it's not like engine damage, in other words, in the sense of, you know, engine banging and clattering, but more so maybe head gasket damage as regards the engine. But if you want to know how many miles it's done, 135,000 miles when that decided to fail in 2016. No fuel, seriously. Right, I'm going to have a look at this now to make sure there's no leaks, to make sure, I've also got to make sure the water pump is circulating, because is the water pump not working, and is that why this blew up? The noise you can hear is because I haven't connected the airbox, but I just need to monitor this now and see if it's all okay. So far so good, no leaks that I can see at the minute. It's still fairly cold. There's the old O-rings, so we got new O-rings in there, but so far so good. Problem is, when I started the car we had 16 miles, now we've only got 14 miles supposedly. It is heating up. I'm kind of getting warm air coming through, but we need to let it fully bleed, let the thermostat open, make sure there's no leaks within it, and then we can ship it if we don't run out of diesel first. Right, so far so good. We're going to plug it into the scan tool. We're going to make sure it's all relearned and it can see everything properly, so we're not going to have any issues. And just wait for the fans to kick in. It's blowing hot air inside, but I just want it to circulate properly before I'm happy enough to say it's done. Right, as you can see, the temperature gauge is going up. We've got some lovely hot air inside. I just want the fans to kick in to make sure everything's pumping and cooling down as it should before I can actually call it done. Right, great news, it's all okay. I was really struggling last night to try and bleed the system. It was late last night by the time I finished, so it was going up to temperature, but I just couldn't get the thermostat to open. It was really cold outside, and I just kind of said, you know what, I'm just going to give up for tonight. I'll come back to it in the morning, because they wasn't collecting it anyway until today. But it was handy, because I've done this loads of times before where I've just left it and come back in the morning and the car sorted itself out, because the water essentially wasn't circulating. And then when I came to it this morning, there was no water in the expansion bottle, there was no leaks, there was nothing outside, and just topped it back up and the water started circulating more or less instantly, which is absolutely brilliant. So obviously it did whatever it needed to do as it was cooling down, and it was absolutely perfect. So driving it now, I had to put fuel in it obviously, but there's no leaks, there's no weird noises, the engine's good, the head gasket's good, so you know there's no more issues with it. The clutch feels a bit dodgy, but that's nothing to do with this, but it's always good to be able to tell the customer, you know, look, this is fixed, but I can tell your clutch isn't great, so that's not great news for them, but at least it gives them a bit of warning. So look, it seems to be happy, it seems to be done, and that's it. So customer was lucky they didn't do any more damage, to be honest. But as always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most important, don't forget, put fucking fuel in the car before you take it to a garage and get your hand dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted. To be fair to the customer on this one, she couldn't actually put fuel in it because she was, you know, she was breaking down, the car was going into limp mode, she just wanted it to get to me. So I understand, but most people put fucking fuel in your car.